everyone. Welcome to our podcast, How to Live a Rich Life. It's me, Surbi Gupta, Mike Walker, and Ganesh.
Hello,
Hi,
everyone.
Surbi. Hi.
Nice to see everyone again. Hopefully, everyone's enjoying the holidays coming up ahead.
Yeah. So today, let's discuss about, since holidays, as you said, are coming. It's that part of the year. So I have heard from some friends, they are planning on New Year's trip. Some people about New Year resolutions. So let's discuss our take on that. How does that sound?
Sounds good. So New Year's resolutions for me, I haven't been doing New Year's. Well, I've always made New Year's resolutions, but I've never really been good at keeping those New Year's resolutions. But I'm really going to try again this year. It sounds very cliche to say I'm going to try once again. But I think, what I'm going to do this year is make a resolution around something I used to be good at doing in the past and try to see if I can keep that or reintroduce it to my life. So how about you guys? What are you thinking of doing?
So for me, I'm great in making resolutions, but I'm terrible in keeping them. And for the ones that I make, it's usual cliche ones, such as get a summer beach body, do a kick-ass job at work, and last but not least, spend time with family and friends and make the most of life. But one thing I would say is that I can do this any time of the year, especially now with COVID. We can have a beach bod anytime by doing a Peloton or cardio at home. So for me, it's a nice forcing function to think about what is ahead, take the time to reflect, relax, and spend time with loved ones, and then think about what you want to change, even though one can technically do this anytime during the year.
Yeah, I think I resonate with that for me, it's not about just New Year's. I think it could be any time. I define New Year that whenever I think of a goal and give it a timeline, it could be an year, less than a year or more than a year. But I like what you said. It's about reflection, and maybe for some people, holidays, when they connect with family or when they have their own time, they can think what they want to work next. And it's a good, I would say, a turning point, right? Like, okay, end of the year, lot of time, think and then achieve work. And maybe there are some great deals also to help some of the resolutions if it's about beach body. But there are some other resolutions which are ongoing as well. And then you get motivated by analyzing that, hey, what did I do in this year? And it's time to rethink or pivot those.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You know, the interesting part about this is it's similar to any type of goal setting, like you just said. So if you're going to have success at setting a New Year's resolution, what is the process for doing that? Just like any other objective that you have or goal you have, how do you treat a New Year's resolution as something serious in your life that you really want to actually accomplish? Like you said, you can make a goal anytime that you want and start setting the discipline to do so. But why is it so easy for us to give up on New Year's resolutions? Is it just because it's so focused on our individual being, or what is it that makes it? Is it not in line with what our normal lives are? It kind of makes it an interesting thing because I'm very good at setting normal goals and achieving those. But for some reason, when I set a New Year's resolution, it's the first thing I throw out the window. It's like, I don't have time for that today.
Yeah, I completely agree, Mike. And what I'm trying to think about is it the time of when we set these goals, or is it type of goals that we set that should be part of our everyday lifestyle? I mean, there's a concept of goals which I call BHAG, big, hairy, aggressive goals. Is it because New Year resolutions are a form of BHAGs? Maybe we should temper down our expectations and start thinking about micro goals and move incrementally? Or is it better to have something that is ambitious and we work towards that? Maybe because it's too ambitious, it might get too difficult, and it creates a psychological barrier to not pursue it on a regular basis. And as a result, the New Year resolutions lapse over a period of time.
I agree with that. I think it's about the realistic versus unrealistic goals. Sometimes people tend to say, it's like a goal versus a dream or a vision. So realistic goals could be one thing to achieve that, the realistic timeline, and also accountability partners, as we discussed, mentors, friends in our previous podcast. I think if you have somebody to help you, like last year, I made a resolution. I think I'm going to achieve it soon, and then I'll share with the wider audience. But I have a group, my product managers group, and Ganesh is part of it. And that really helped me in accountability, learning. And Ganesh is smiling. He might know. I'll announce it sooner. Not yet.
Oh,
So yeah, I think that helps. Realistic goal, and then how do you, not just the goal, but also what are the steps you're gonna do to follow. So the plan, and also some help, whether you want to enroll in a course, some friend, something, right? Or if it's just buying a Peloton, and then of course subscribing to it as well.
yeah, it's very interesting. It's like every time I set a goal, there's like almost a project management style to it in my normal work life or those types of things. So when I'm approaching, I guess, this New Year's resolution, I need to approach it in the same manner. I need to take it that seriously, and I probably need a time block for it as well and make sure it's incorporated into my daily routine or weekly routine, depending on what it is. Obviously, diet is one of the things a lot of people go after. Exercise is one of those things. You know, the problem with exercise is I've gotten older, and things don't work quite as well as they used to. Like, I can't do the heavy weights anymore because I'll break myself. So, you know, I go in with these expectations. Oh, I'm going to do these exercises, and I jump back in, and I'm like, oh, I'm 25 again, and then I'm like, no, I'm not 25 again, and I can't get up the next day because I just made it really difficult for myself doing this kind of workout. So I kind of think changing the expectation, if you're used to having done something in the past and you haven't done it in a while, setting new expectations for yourself, or even, you know, like with the diet thing, I think what works best for me is reducing things, not saying I'm going to do this type of diet or that type of diet, but saying, okay, I'm going to start removing this type of food or that type of food. So small, like you said, small steps, small things to progress toward a bigger objective. I like that mindset.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing here is that when we set New Year resolution, of course, accountability is super important to help you keep motivated. The accountability can be a function of, you know, finding social buddies to help you keep each other on account. And the second is the type of fulfillment that you get. Is your fulfillment for individual oneself or for someone else? And that's when I put on my Buddhist monk hat and say, hey, are you doing this for karma? Are you doing this to better society? Are you doing this to better your loved one perception of you? So basically think about the incentives that allow you to be fulfilled, and is that sustainable over a period of time? Normally, when you try to help others do better, it makes you feel good, and that tends to be more lasting than something that is purely individualistic. But each person is different. So the type of accountability through social buddies and the type of fulfillment are super important. And then combine that with a type of goals, aggressive versus incremental. I think next New Year resolutions, it sounds pretty complicated. And that's probably the reason why people drop them, because there's so many factors into it.
Agree. I wonder why. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to say just you know, I wonder why we don't look at it as something that we need to fit into our schedules. Well, everybody gets so busy, right? And I think that's one of the issues is it's not so important that we're willing to replace something we already have in our schedules. You know, you have your routines, your standard routines, and you're used to those routines. And trying to get yourself moving out of that routine is very, very difficult. So I like what you said there. Having something that motivates you beyond just the resolution itself, that's a fantastic idea. I think that's absolutely right. It's just like in life, something you're passionate about really is what motivates you to do the work that you do on a day in and day out basis. The objective is beyond just the work itself. So I like that too.
I also think one of the reasons why this holiday resolution doesn't work, at least for me and I think for many people, is that procrastination comes in. Our schedule during holidays is very, very different than our actual schedule. So if you think something that, okay, I'm going to start, and then you're like, you know, maybe after holidays, or you start during holidays. So there are two factors, during or after, but both of the schedules are very different in your real life. So when it comes and okay, New Year party, first, okay, I'll start on second, third, I'm hanging out, and then procrastination takes over, and then inertia of change is always there. So I don't think this timing works well, but I don't know why this New Year's resolution came from the first place. It should not be the time when you are like restarting. It should be like totally easily, like it should be at a point when it's easy to get into your life, right?
I totally agree. I mean, for example, the Beachbody New Year resolution, it should not be at the end of the year. It should be September. because my birthday's in September, birthday cake, and then you have Halloween, and then you have Thanksgiving, you have Christmas, you have Holi, you have Kwanzaa, you have Hanukkah, you have so many things ahead. So to me, the most effective time is probably September.
I agree. And then some people are like, oh, summertime is coming. And maybe it's for gym. I think it's more by all this, like the ad world and the brands and everything they promote, they have to kick their sales. And I'm just thinking out loud here, but let's, it is what it is. So we should make the best of it.
Yeah. I think the other thing is too, one of the other things is to share your New Year's and you know, we're going to be closing up here, but and we're near the end here, but what I think is one of the other things you should do is share your New Year's resolution with as many people as you can, because you never know who's actually going to hold you accountable. There are personalities of individuals who think of it and ask you, hey, how are you doing on this? Whereas if you just don't expect it, there might be someone you decide you're going to go ahead and do this resolution with and hold accountable, but you know, you're not as good with that individual. That person's not great at holding people accountable or whatever. So the more people you share it with, it feels like it's a bigger commitment. You don't want to end up falling on your face in front of people, right? So you put that little bit of pressure on yourself to make
Mike,
sure you get through it as well.
With the podcast today, with all the audience on the podcast, is that your plan?
Oh yeah, just what we need. That's all the comments on. How are you doing on your New Year's resolution? I'm not sharing today. Maybe I'll share on New Year's or something when we do that podcast. But I'm not going to share my current one because I don't want people telling me, "Hey, did you do this? Did you do that?"
And that's one of the reasons people don't share, right? People don't share because there is always this, fear of failure. But I think you're right. We learn from our failures all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually probably want to scale back my New Year's resolutions before I start sharing them. You know, you get really excited about, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do all these different things. And I'm like, okay, I got to be realistic about this. What can I actually accomplish in the new year so I feel good about it, right?
Absolutely.
Just like any other objective. Yeah. Okay.
Awesome. Happy New Year, everyone. And we will look forward to, hearing everybody's New Year resolutions. Feel free to comment and looking forward to a great New Year. Stay safe.
Thanks, guys. Thanks. Had a great time.
Don't worry, everyone. I'll add Mike's New Year resolution in the comments for everyone to see.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Happy holidays,
I
everyone.
appreciate it. It was good friends. Bye.